anything at all about your cash activities. Here's what we actually have to do. We have to go and look and see, first of all, this is stuff that, service fees, okay. This, a service fee here is $37. That's gonna be on the bank statement. You're not gonna know what that is until they tell you. And you do need to record the service fee as a service fee, because that's a bona fide expense that's supposed to show up as a bank charge or any kind of bank expenses on your income statement. But also what you're missing here is something called an NSF check. What does that mean? NSF check from a customer of $420. Okay, so NSF, not sufficient funds. It's a bounce check. A customer gave you a check, they didn't have the funds to cover the amount written on the check was returned, unpaid. Now, what do I do with that? How would I have recorded that in the first place? Based on what you know now about cash entries, what would you write down?
What was it? I mean, so we got a check and it bounced?
Before the check bounced, you would have gotten a check from a customer, probably for some kind of service, right? Maybe you did something for, maybe you're a contractor, you're a plumber, you fix somebody's faucet.
So you would debit cash and then credit service?
You would have credited, yeah, exactly right, yeah. When you got that check, you would have debited cash and you would have credited service revenue, okay? The check came back. So what does that mean?
Debit a liability and
Close.
credit cash.
Close. You have to take it out of cash because it doesn't exist anymore, right? There's no cash to back it up. Okay? But right here, you now have an account receivable. Your customer still owes you the money. You see that? That's why it's so important to go through these transactions one by one, because you still need to collect that money from your customer. And I didn't show it, but you're probably going to want to add a fee on top of that. Usually if a customer bounces a check, you add fees on top of it, because the bank is probably going to charge you for that. So you're going to debit accounts receivable and credit cash, and then you have to make a collection effort to get that money. Okay? Now, I think this is all we have on this side, right? So there's still, we didn't find anything else, but this is all we have, service fee and NSF check. This is what the bank knew about that we didn't know about. I know about these things. I know about the deposits and checks outstanding. I don't know about the service fee or the NSF check. I didn't know that check didn't clear until the bank told me. So this is stuff that the bank knows about that I didn't know about. I saw the balance here, so what does that mean? It means I have to go back over here and see about this other stuff. Let me see what I have now. Bank service fee and NSF check. Cash sales of $1,893 for the last 3 days have not yet been deposited. Okay. And what's the other thing? Oh, this is a check. Okay, there's an outstanding check of $1,620. So I'm going to make this. This amount is included here. I already know about it, okay? And these checks, $1,893, have not hit the bank yet. So this is still outstanding. Right there. Although I know about it, I've already recorded those receipts on my ledger, but it hasn't reached the bank yet. And now what you see is we're in balance. I looked at every single transaction, and now I understand where they are. I know where my deposits are. I know that check has been issued, but it hasn't cleared yet, so I have to wait for that, look for that next month, make sure it's cleared. I've recorded my service fee properly, and now I know I have to go pursue my customer for payment.
Where did there was a balance right next to the 22,943. Where did that go? I have 750.
It was the difference between those two numbers.
Oh.
When we started off, there was a difference of $730. When we finish, these two numbers match, and they're not either one of these numbers. This is the actual number that I want on my books. That's my reconcile balance. Okay? Now, this is deceptively difficult. It's really not that easy to reconcile a bank account. People have a lot of trouble with it. It's one of those things that kind of scares people. I mean, I had finished my CPA exam and gotten my license and everything, and I still wasn't entirely sure how to reconcile a bank account. It actually took some practice to reconcile a bank account. So, yeah.
Where did you get for the check OS? Where did you get the 1620?
Checks outstanding, I'll show you. OS is just an abbreviation for outstanding. Right here. It says right here, the bank processes all checks written by the company by July 31st and lists them on the bank statement, except there's one totaling $1,620 that they don't have. It hasn't cleared the bank yet, but you've already issued it. You know you've issued it, so you've included it in your general ledger balance. It hasn't gotten to the bank yet. That often happens because people don't, sometimes people just hold on to checks. I had a check come through yesterday in my account that I issued probably 3 weeks ago, but they just didn't take it to the bank right away. Sometimes people just don't. Okay. This is a very, very simple example. Right? And here's the journal entries. Now, where it says no entry required, what that means is this, right here. The difference is here from this balance to the reconciled balance is $273. You do absolutely nothing with that because you're not the bank. You don't worry about their books, they worry about their own books. Okay, so you don't have to do anything. And here, this difference from beginning to end is $457, so it's not the $730 we thought it was. These two added together total $730, but these entries, this is it. That's the entries. Now they did a bulk entry. I like individual entries, but you don't have to do that. Record the service fee, reduction of cash. Record the account receivable, also a reduction of cash, and I have to remember to go pursue my customer for payment. Now that's important. If you didn't reconcile the account, I don't think the show's on the air anymore, but it used to be a show hosted by a man named Marcus Lemonis, I think was his name, called The Profit, Profit. Remember that show? Okay. Yeah, this was really kind of a sad thing. He did an episode one time with, I can't remember the name of the company, but they were essentially